a 12,000 crore Jaypee scam, an MD on the run for 8 years, and the story of 20,000 shattered dreams. Just imagine, you're holding a brand new key in your hand, a key you bought after years of savings. You're standing outside your dream home, smiling. Your family is behind you. Your wife has already decided that she'll start putting plants in the balcony from Monday. Your kids are planning what posters they'll put up in their rooms. And in your eyes is that special shine seen only in the eyes of someone who is about to step into their own home for the first time. But suddenly a phone call comes. Sir, the project has been shut down. The builder is missing. Your money is stuck. And everything ends so quickly that you don't even understand what just happened. Your dream collapses in a single second. Now imagine you're not alone. There are 20,000 people just like you, whose dreams were snatched away by the SAM company. This is that story of Jaypee Group and Manoj Gaur. A story filled with big promises, flashy buildings, glossy brochures, and behind all that shine, an ugly darkness that thousands of families are still suffering from. As soon as you enter Delhi NCR, the first name you see everywhere is Jaypee Group. Massive townships, wide roads, Dubai-like skyscrapers, the glittering stretch of the Yamuna Expressway. On the surface, everything looked grand, developed, and trustworthy. But what was happening underneath this glossy surface? No one knew. This isn't just the story of a builder's fraud. It's an 8-year-long cat-and-mouse chase, where every time the law tightened its grip, Manoj Gaur managed to slip away using some excuse or some loophole. But everything changed on the morning of 13 November 2025, when the ED team broke open the door and a new chapter of this chase began. It was early morning when the ED raided around 15 locations of Jaypee Infratech and Jaypee Associates simultaneously. Chaos erupted everywhere. Some people were rushing to shut doors, some were turning off computers, some were deleting digital files. But today, the system wasn't going to let a single trick escape. The teams found 1.7 crore cash stuffed in bags, documents of multiple properties, trails of money sent abroad, laptops, and hard drives. And they found exactly what turned the entire case upside down. Amid all this, Manoj Gaur was arrested again. This wasn't his first arrest, but this time things were different. Because now, Homebuyers had provided solid evidence. The police had strengthened the case. And the ED had clearly confirmed in its investigation that massive fund misuse had taken place. But the story doesn't start here. It begins during the real estate boom of 2008 to 2010, when new projects were being launched in every corner of Delhi NCR. People were desperate to get rid of rent, and builders kept promising, "We'll deliver your home in just 3 years." Jaypee Group took full advantage of this. They launched projects like Jaypee Wish Town, Jaypee Greens, and Jaypee Village. Their brochures showed beautiful lakes, long scenic roads, children's parks, huge sports complexes, and they said, "This is your dream city. We'll hand it over to you in just 3 years. The advertisements were so mesmerizing that the common man felt, "This is it. This is the life I want." And slowly, families kept signing up one after another. People emptied their life savings. Some broke their PF, some used their wedding savings, some liquidated their FDs, and many took bank loans. And slowly, the booking amount reached 12,000 crore. This amount was so massive that it could fund the annual budget of a small country. Jaypee Group too started believing that they had become so big that no one could touch them. But homebuyers had no idea back then that their money wasn't actually going into building their homes. It was being used for something else entirely. Slowly, the real game began to unfold. Construction started slowing down. Workers at the site reduced. Cranes stood in the SAM spot for months. Concrete trucks disappeared. And whatever little construction did happen, it was only for show. People started asking, "When will we get possession?" And the answer would always be, "Just next month." But that next month never came. Years passed. EMIs increased. Rent increased. And the dream home? It remained just a skeleton of concrete. As homebuyers' frustration grew, the truth started coming out. ED's investigation revealed that funds were diverted. The money meant for home construction was actually spent on the Yamuna Expressway and other Jaypee projects. The company took money from one project and used it in another, then took from the second and pumped it into a third, creating a financial maze so huge that it eventually collapsed under its own weight. ED records showed that not only was the money diverted to other projects, but some of it was also sent abroad to countries like Thailand and Singapore. On paper, it was shown as business transactions, but in reality, a portion of the money was spent on luxury trips and personal usage. Not just that, fake approval documents were created. Buyers were shown that the project was legal, the maps were approved, and bank loans had been sanctioned. But in reality, many approvals were forged and several documents were incomplete. The company used every trick that an ordinary person could never detect just to trap buyers. This wasn't merely fraud, it was a well-organized criminal conspiracy involving multiple companies. The ED traced this network. Funds had been transferred to several companies like Gaur Sons, Mahagun, Gulshan Homes. And every transaction was so layered that no one could easily uncover it. People completely broke down when they realized that even after 10 to 15 years, only 20 to 30% of the work had been completed. And the company kept saying, there is no money. Eventually, the matter reached the NCLT. Proceedings to declare the company bankrupt began. Several companies showed interest in buying it, but the condition of the projects was so terrible that no one was willing to take the risk. In this situation, 20,000 families are still waiting today, hoping that maybe someday their home will finally be completed. 20,000 families. This is not just a number. There is a story behind every single family. There is a mother who thought her son would buy a house before his wedding. A father who believed he would relax in his own home after retirement. A young man who invested early in his career, thinking his future would be secure. A couple whose life savings disappeared while paying both EMI and rent together. And every night before sleeping, one question haunts them. Will my home ever be completed? This is not just the Jaypee Group scam, but one of the darkest chapters in India's real estate industry. It shows how greed and corruption can turn a seemingly successful company into a monster. This story reveals how slow legal processes, weak regulation, and loopholes allow man to take 12,000 crore and still walk freely for years. And this story reminds us that buying dreams is easy, but getting them fulfilled in this country is extremely difficult. Manoj Gaur is arrested today. But is this the end? Probably not. Next, the ED will present him in court. Weeks of interrogation will follow. A charge sheet will be filed. A trial will begin. And years later, maybe a verdict will finally come. But what about those 20,000 families whose time, money, and dreams have all been swallowed by the scam? The unfinished towers still stand today. The sound of the wind echoes through them. As if the wind is whispering, a life was supposed to flourish here. But human greed turned it into ruins.
If our video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources, news from various news agencies, opinion polls and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.